Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, before I even get into this video, since I'm wearing this shirt and you guys can clearly see it, shout out to the Hornets, 4th seed in the East right now. Kemba Walker better make the All-Star team. But aside from that, into some boxing talk. And look, I feel like I say this every video I make about Koavlev Ward, but I gotta say it again. I'm really trying to stop talking about this, but it's just so prevalent. It's so relevant. I go on my YouTube feed, I see Koavlev Ward. I go on boxing groups, I see things about Koavlev Ward. I go on Facebook, on my newsfeed, I see things about Koavlev Ward. And I see interviews with Andre Ward, quotes from Sergey Koavlev. So I'm going to have to talk about this. It's just simple as that. And Andre Ward recently had a interview on Fox Sports where he addressed some things such as his take on the fight, potential rematch, and just where he sees things. So we're gonna get into that. I don't think it's any. If you guys have been watching the channel, there's no real. It's not a real secret. So how I feel about this fight. If you guys haven't seen the video, I'll leave it for you guys right here or wherever. Right here. Basically titled "Andre Ward is Delusional." That one got quite a rise out of a lot of you guys. So go back, click on the right hand side, and you'll see. You can go enjoy that one. To TSS BT Classic, but. What I wanted to say was this. For those of you who may not have never watched me before, I'll say it again. Andre Ward got a ridiculously huge gift decision against Sergey Koavlev. And I'm going to play the interview. We're going to pick apart some things he said throughout the course of his interview. And we're going to go from there and just dissect from there. So here's the Andre Ward interview. It's about 3 minutes long. So here's what he said.
Undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world is Andre Ward. We are thrilled to have him here. This is interesting because we had the gentleman you just defeated, Sergey Koavlev. We had him on the show, Andre. A lot of people had they weren't totally cool with the way this fight was scored, the way that you won this fight. What do you say to these critics?
I mean, the critics are going to be the critics. This isn't the first time it's been a close boxing match.
The first one
in
ever.
The sport of boxing.
Right.
It's just not the case, but. And my other thing is it was a unanimous decision.
Right.
It was a close fight. I'll give him that. But I think what happened was this guy Koavlev has had such a reputation as being this monster that, they thought he was going to hit me and I was going to stay down. Now, he did hit me and I went down, but I got up and as the smaller man, I took the fight to him and I feel like I did what I had to do to close out the show the last 6, 7, 8 rounds, and the judges got it right. It's just disappointing. I know a guy may be disappointed, meaning my opponent and his team, right after the fight. Emotions are still high. But for a guy, 3 or 4 weeks later to still not give you credit and still make excuses, it's just not a good look for him.
As Jay mentioned, he was here 2 days after the fight, and here's what he had to say about it.
I feel my body is good, but a little mentally disappointed. Yes, I lost the case, and not fairly. I could agree if I lost. If lost is okay, but I didn't lost this fight and just to wrap me. Maybe because I'm not American.
Okay, so a few things to unwrap there. First off, when you hear that, do you just tune it out, or does it start a fire again?
I'm kind of tired of hearing the guy's voice and the thing. We had an 8-10 week build up to the fight, so I need a break from his face and the things that he's saying, but
I need a break from his gym.
But I mean, no, seriously, I don't think it's right what he's saying. Now, take me out of the equation. This is a guy who is, obviously come from Russia. He has a, really tough story. He's come here. He's made money. He's made a living. And this is a guy who said plenty of times, even in the build up to our fight, I love America. I've been here. I fight here. They embrace me, and I want to make my name here. It's not good when things don't go your way. And then you start to rip sort of the hand that's feeding you. So I just think it's not a good look for him. It has nothing to do with me. And as far as the judging, if Koavlev had won by 4 or 5 points, and I knew in my heart of hearts that this guy beat me, I got the kind of character where I'm going to tell him right after the fight, bro, I appreciate, Nevada, thank you for the decision, but he earned this. It just didn't happen. It was a close fight that went my way, and I think he has to just, at some point he's got to own up to it.
Okay, so everyone's talking about the rematch, and you've been in the news today because you're not sure. You made $5 million for the first fight. You said you'd
Allegedly.
You said, yeah, right, allegedly. You said you'd consider retirement if the price isn't right for the rematch. So let's make a deal right now.
What's that price?
What's the price?
Well, you know what? Rule number one in negotiating, you know, I'll never negotiate against myself and throw any figures out. And honestly, I never mentioned figures in the quote that I had. I think that's what, you know, people kind of assumed that I was talking about, which that's a lot of what I was talking about. But I mean, just, you know, I've been in the game a long time. This is, I think the December 18th will be 12 years as a professional. And, you know, it's frowned upon a lot of times when athletes, but specifically fighters, pause for a second from being these tough warriors and say, okay, let me put my business hat on. You know, this wasn't my first title. This wasn't my first rodeo. You know, I've earned the position that I have. And I beat the guy that nobody really said that I could beat. And my thing is everybody involved, let's act like that happened. And if everybody acts like that happened, then there should be no problem putting together the type of fight and rematch that the fans want to see, but also that benefits me as the champion.
It must be great. So many people talking about it. That love for boxing returning.
I love it. That's why I don't mind some of the things that, you know, his promoter's saying. She's long in the tooth. She knows the game. I don't really understand what Koavlev is saying or where he's coming from, but it's good. Like, I've been relaxing. Right. You know, my team has intentionally let those guys talk.
Right.
And then we'll respond the first of the year after we, you know, have a good Christmas and a good New Year. But it's all good, man. People are talking about it, and here we are 3-4 weeks later.
After boxing, you're looking at your life.
All right, so there you have it. Andre Ward. There's a lot to unpack, and we're gonna do that definitely here, as we always do. Because look, regardless of what you guys want, you guys aren't seeing the big picture. My problem with a lot of you boxing fans, and this is not just for this subject. I would say in general, my problem with a lot of boxing fans, because a lot of you guys are really smart. A lot of you guys are very intelligent, but I'm gonna say it like this. Boxing fans, they have a lot of knowledge, but very little perspective. I'm going to repeat that again. Boxing fans have a lot of knowledge, but very little perspective. Now, what the hell do I mean by that? Were we freaking Confucius, or you're saying things out of your behind, BT? No. What I'm saying is this. Andre Ward getting a gift decision, Andre Ward's actions, the way this is going to play out, however it plays out, will have a ripple effect on boxing for the next couple of years, because now you're going to have top guys from Eastern Europe not wanting to fight here. American fight fans will not be able to see the Kovalevs of the world, the Golovkins of the world. So there's that. And you're going to have American fighters looking up to a guy like Andre Ward who, you know, whether I dislike him or not, you know, he's done some good things in the sport. You know, he's won a gold medal. He's beaten some decent opponents, whether I disagree with how I beat him or not. Still done some good things in the sport, but they're going to look at how he acts, and they're going to want to mimic that behavior and become divas themselves. So what I'm saying is this. For the sake of the future fighters that are going to come up and are looking at Andre Ward, please, this is not even me hating on you, it's just as a boxing fan, please hike up your skirt, act and behave like a fighter and the true champion that a lot of your fans and a lot of people in this comment section claim that you are. Because right now you're not acting like a champion. Now we're going to unpack everything he said in this damn interview, one by one. So let's start with opening statement by Andre Ward. He states the following, says, I quote, Koavlev has a reputation for being a monster that they thought he was that they thought he was going to hit me and I was going to go down. Now, he did hit me and I did go down, but I got up and I took the fight to him. End quote. Now, that's, first of all, he is right in saying that Koavlev has a reputation of being a monster, because this is a man that's one of the most vicious men in all boxing. You know, one of the highest knockout percentages, once killed a man in the ring. You know, a great fighter who has gotten better since he got to the States. But as far as him saying, I got up and I took the fight right to him, no, you didn't, bro. You ran around the ring. You were in boxing. What you were doing was everything so anti-boxing. You were trying to freaking tackle him. I don't know if I was watching HBO boxing or high school wrestling at South Broad High School. Shout out to the Bulldogs. Like, honestly, was I watching high school wrestling or was I watching HBO boxing? That's the question I was asking. So Andre Ward, you know, it's not a matter of you got up and you survived. So we're gonna in our minds we're gonna act like you took the fight to him and you won. No. We're not gonna grade you on the curve, Andre Ward, because that's the problem with this damn country a lot of the times. We're grading people on a curve, and you're not going to get extra credit for, stuff you didn't do. Simple as that. You didn't take the fight to Koavlev. You boxed outside of the rules. You excessively clinched, and it had to have been a good ref in there. If you're playing fight night, right? If you're playing fight night, and your friend was Andre Ward and you were Koavlev, and your friend kept pressing Y and clinching you, guess what? Even in fight night, you're gonna get a point deducted, and you'll get pissed. You tell your friend, "Hey, can we actually play the damn video game, or are you gonna sit here and keep pressing the clinch button?" So even in a freaking video game, Andre Ward would have lost the point, but he had the judge in his back, or the ref in his back pocket. Then, Koavlev, they played a clip from Koavlev from what he said in his interview with Fox. He said, I quote, "They robbed me because I'm not American." And I know a lot of you guys have been having fun with this one because you've been saying, "Well, that's not true. Kovalev's been fighting in Vegas the last couple years. He's basically American now." No, he's not an American. And let me tell you what he means by that. Koavlev doesn't mean, they robbed him because he's Russian. I mean, what he really means is this. He means Andre Ward is part of the American boxing establishment, meaning that, Andre Ward was the last male American gold medalist. Andre Ward has been on HBO, he's been on Showtime, he's fought, in America pretty much his whole career. So the guy is in with the promoters. He's in with the higher ups in boxing. So that's what he means. And he's pissed because Koavlev had to come here to the States. He had to come from obscurity. He had to fight, to prove himself. And he was in the biggest fight of his career. He boxed beautifully, did everything he needed to do to win. And when it came down to getting the just decision, he got robbed, and he didn't just get the first loss on his record. He had 3 titles taken from him, and a guy who won no more than 3 to 4 rounds at best and got thoroughly outclassed walked away with all of his belts. How would you feel if that was you? You wouldn't feel really good if that was you. If that was Floyd Mayweather, I guarantee if that was Floyd Mayweather in that position, we'd be hearing a different story from a lot of you people in the boxing world, but it is what it is. Andre Ward then, when they asked him about negotiations, he says, "Well, let me put my business hat on." Last time I checked, when the hell were you a manager? When were you a promoter? You don't make those decisions. Last time I checked, you always remind us every freaking interview you do, it's I'm gonna have my manager James Prince and my lawyer Josh Dubin handle that. You don't make business decisions. So let's not put the business hat on because you don't make those decisions to begin with. Act and behave like a fighter and say, "Hey, look, I thought I won the fight. I thought I did this, and that to defeat Koavlev, and I think I deserve the decision. And I know it was disputed, but you know what? Koavlev gave me a chance to become light heavyweight champion. I'm going to give him that same chance in return, and I'm going to prove to the boxing world that I'm better than Koavlev." That would be the honorable thing to do, but are you doing that? No, you're not. So I don't get how people can defend this guy, because what he's doing and how he's behaving is not champion. It's not the behavior of a champion. It's not the behavior of a top level boxer. The behavior Andre Ward is displaying and the way he's acting is the behavior that has become so entrenched and so identifiable with many Americans across this country, and that is the behavior of a coward, the behavior of a sissy, and the behavior of somebody who is not truly great. And that's a lot. And that harsh reality is, I'm speaking to a lot of you guys out there who are probably watching this video. So hate on me as you want to, and click the dislike button. Okay, now let's say right here, he then goes on by saying, "I beat the guy that nobody said I could beat, and let's act like that happened." And everybody acts like that happened. And if everybody acts like that happened, then there should be no problem doing a rematch. End quote. So, and I'm glad I put this video up before the fight happened, so Andre Ward couldn't say stupid things like that. But you can go on my channel right now. I already have a video where I take clips from people I interviewed before this fight was even made. I have Shannon Briggs, Clarissa Shields, Steve Cunningham, all kinds of fighters asking, Jarrell Miller, all kinds of fighters asking for their predictions on Koavlev versus Ward. Around 8 minutes of it. And I believe, with the exception of one person, which was Steve Jaffard, who was Kovalev's sparring partner, everybody picked Andre Ward to win. Many people picked Andre Ward to win. So I don't know who's in this guy's ear, but they got him deluded. And then he says the operative word being, "Let's act like that happened." So we're gonna ignore the corruption, ignore the things that were done wrong to Koavlev, who earned his spot to become a heavyweight champion. In my humble opinion, I think Koavlev, regardless of the gift decision from Ward, when it's all said and done and he hangs up his gloves, he's gonna go down as one of the top 20 best light heavyweights ever put on a pair of boxing gloves, and you can take that to the bank with the things he's done in the sport. Andre Ward couldn't shine his shoes that night. He had to box outside of the rules to prevent himself from getting stopped and destroyed if he had boxed in the rules, and he put his hands up and followed the Marcus of Queensberry rules that boxing was founded on. He would have got his ass whooped even more and probably, embarrassed because he was getting countered all night. He was getting hit with a jab repeatedly. Like, honestly, I live in South Florida. We have a very great baseball stadium. Shout out to the Marlins. They're going to do great things next year, hopefully, when they get this pitching. But at Marlins Park, where we live in South Florida, like, there's a bobblehead museum, and there's a lot of great bobbleheads there. And, honestly, I couldn't tell whether I was watching a boxing match, or if I was watching a boxer, or a freaking bobblehead. I mean, Andre Ward, every time Koavlev popped that jab out there, it was like this, over and over again. So, my thing is, I don't get how he can just whine constantly, and you guys are complaining. And listen, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, why are you talking about him whining, Brendan? You're whining right here. No. I cover boxing. I cover the things that go on in boxing. So whether it's the good things, the positive things, like I try to go to the local gyms and give shine to some fighters who maybe aren't getting the attention that they should get. Without doing something like that, or I'm shining light maybe on some of the corruption in the sport. I'm covering boxing as a whole, not as you guys want it. This is true school sports. So if you guys have a problem with what I'm doing, get your own damn YouTube channel. Now, Andre Ward said this. He said, I quote, at the end of the YouTube video, at the end of the interview, he said, I don't understand what Koavlev is saying or where he is coming from as far as like how Koavlev is talking about the robbery and how he was done wrong. Now, understand this. Andre Ward and Koavlev, they're both good, they're both talented fighters, but make no mistake about it, they're both guys who came up very differently. Koavlev came from Russia. He came as a guy that had to earn everything he got in boxing. Had to come to this country, had to impress main events, had to deal with to even get the opportunities to fight Bernard Hopkins, to beat Bernard Hopkins, outclass him, become a heavyweight champion, and then become the dominant champion he was before Andre Ward got a good decision. Ward, on the other hand, was the Olympic gold medalist, the darling, who got every advantage in the book. He's fought 23 out of his 31 fights in California with all the odds stacked against his opponents, and he's a guy who's had more things handed to him in boxing than Koavlev has. That's not me hating, that's just a simple fact. So where Koavlev is coming from, he's coming from a guy he's come from the perspective of someone who had to bust their ass to become light heavyweight champion and really, hone their craft. And once he got that chance to fight another fighter who was looked at to be on the same level as him, he didn't only just beat him. I want to emphasize this because a lot of you guys want to twist my words up. I want to emphasize this. He didn't just beat him. All right, he outclassed Andre Ward. He was better than Andre Ward. Every facet, counter punching, power, technically sound boxing. His jab was more on point. Boxing within the rules, neutralizing the opponent. Like he did everything that you guys Andre Ward would do to Koavlev. Koavlev did to Andre Ward, and he didn't get the decision because it's simple. American promoters, American judges, the boxing, higher ups in this country, they want Andre Ward to be respected. They want to make him more relevant, and they didn't want to give Koavlev the decision because, quite frankly, if Koavlev got that decision, you look at the landscape of the heavyweight division, he's probably not gonna lose for a while. You got the guys like Peter Biev and a couple other guys, but he was clearly the best fighter in the weight class, and Andre Ward got the decision because of his past, people he knows, and that's what it is. And as you guys know, that wasn't the only bad robbery that night. There was the Maurice Hooker, Darlius Perez fight that happened before, where Darlius Perez, a guy who came up in weight, fought Maurice Hooker, who, like Andre Ward, was promoted by Rock Nation Sports, and he got robbed. He came up in weight. He was Colombian. He came up in weight. Dude Maurice Hooker was built like Tommy Hearns, real skinny, lanky, had all the physical advantages, and got his ass whooped, and he got a good decision as well. So it wasn't the first good decision that happened tonight. So what I'm saying is this, man. Look, this Andre Ward Koavlev thing, it's gonna have a ripple effect on boxing and how it plays out, because a lot of these American fighters, like, look, I'll give you an example. And look, I'm kind of pissed that he signed with Andre Ward because I'm afraid. I like Shakur Stevenson. I met him in New York. I can't lie. I'm telling you, I won't lie to you guys. I'm disappointed that he decided Andre Ward because I'm afraid he's gonna become a lot like Andre Ward, and I don't want that for Shakur. He's a very talented fighter. And he deserves better to be someone who's only known in one state and a couple others by hardcore boxing fans. So with that being said, Shakur Stevenson is going to look at Andre Ward, who he gets signed with his manager, and he's now working with Andre Ward behind the scenes, and he's going to try to mimic some of the things Andre Ward did in the sport, and that really ticks me off because it's a ripple effect. Andre studied Floyd. Oh no, Floyd came in the game, right? Andre Ward studied Floyd. He took some things from Floyd, but then he added his own little diva ways into it. Now you got Andre, and he's going to kind of be a bit mentor for Shakur. And Shakur Stevenson to look at Andre and Floyd as well, and become he probably might become a diva. I hope not. I really hope not. But you just never know in boxing. So Andre Ward, I gotta say it like this. My closing statement, because I've been rambling for 20 minutes. My closing statement is simply this: if Andre Ward does not give Koavlev a rematch, he is a disgrace to boxing. He is a disgrace to all the past greats that have fought in the heavyweight division. Roy Jones Jr., everybody, Tarver, forget the heavyweights, boxing in general. He's a disgrace to boxing. Every weight class, every great fighter who's ever put on a pair of gloves, he is a disgrace, and he should never ever be compared to those guys because he ducked a rematch with Sergey Koavlev, and he knows he lost. His fans don't want to admit it, but they know he lost, and they don't want to be honest about it. So I'm not here to appeal to your feelings or anything like that. Andre Ward lost the fight. He's not behaving like a champion, even in the midst of getting a good decision, and he should be ashamed of himself. All you guys who defend him should be extra ashamed of yourself because he's not paying your bills, and you niggas is defending him like he's paying your bills. Okay, so I mean, it is what it is, man. Andre Ward is a disgrace to boxing if he never gives Koavlev a rematch. Honestly, to be honest with you guys, Andre Ward is a disgrace to boxing, just with how he handles his career. As far as him, go watch the Mikhail Kessler fight, when he's elbowing Mikhail Kessler and he's doing all these dirty tactics. That's what, honestly, when you elbow a fighter and you have to box outside of the rules and be a freaking dick to win fights like Andre Ward has been in the past, that's worse. Like elbowing fighters and excessively clinching and doing all these little dirty tactics on the inside. These are things that are worse than any performance enhancing drug because you're doing things that willingly are against the rules. At least with PEDs, sometimes fighters take things that they don't know are on the banned substance list. So there's always ways to justify it. But when you're in that ring and you're throwing elbows knowingly, as Andre Ward has been done in the past, to me, it's worse than any performance-enhancing drug. So, look, I'm someone in the past who's tried to get behind Andre Ward, try to, be fair with him. If he gives his Koavlev this rematch, great. I hope this video doesn't have any relevance 6 months from now and he gives Koavlev a rematch. But as far as right now, with the current landscape of things, it looks like he's not going to give him the rematch. And if he doesn't, I'm going to say it again before I close this video. Andre Ward is a disgrace to boxing. Okay? And you guys who support him and keep defending him with the way he's acting, you're a bigger disgrace to boxing because you're the idiots. When you go in the world and you tell people how great the sport of boxing is, you're convincing people that Andre Ward is this great fighter. And look, I learn more about boxing when I talk to people who don't know about boxing. It's crazy about that. As crazy as that is, because people who don't watch boxing will say, "Well, what's so good about this guy Andre Ward?" I shouldn't have to explain somebody's great. Like when you saw Mike Tyson, when you saw even Floyd Mayweather, when you saw Pacquiao, when you saw certain fighters, you could see that they were great. I had to explain it to you. You just knew it. That's not the case with Andre Ward. So with that being said, I'm gonna close it right there. Leave your comments down below. Anything you guys thought about this video. Take the time to subscribe. And like I always say, and I'm gonna continue saying it to the day I die. And I'm not making YouTube videos no more. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.